When Steve Jobs dropped out of college, people called him irresponsible. When Elon Musk said he'd build rockets that could land themselves, people laughed. When Albert Einstein failed his entrance exam, they said he was slow. But time proved something: the world often calls you foolish right before it realizes you were brilliant. And that reminds me of a story of a king, a minister, and a boy who showed that true wisdom doesn't need to shout. Once there was a very clever minister in a great king's court. He was the kind of man who always had a solution. The king trusted him so deeply that no big decision was ever made without his advice. But when someone shines too bright, shadows form around them. Jealous courtiers whispered behind his back, waiting for a moment to humiliate him. One day that moment came. The king smirked and said, "You are very wise, but your son is a fool. Every morning he gives me the most ridiculous answers." The minister frowned. "Your Majesty, what makes you say that?" The king laughed. "Every morning when I meet the people, your son is there. And I ask him one simple question: which is more valuable, gold or silver? And every single time he says silver." The court burst into laughter. The minister stayed silent, his face calm but his mind racing. When he got home, he called his son and asked, "My son, which is more valuable, gold or silver?" Without hesitation, the boy said, "Gold, father." The minister sighed. "Then why do you keep saying silver in front of the king?" The boy smiled knowingly. "Every morning the king places two coins before me, one gold and one silver, and says, 'Take whichever you think is more valuable.' If I take the gold coin once, the game ends, but as long as I take the silver one, he keeps asking and I keep earning." Then he opened a box. Inside were hundreds of silver coins. The minister stood silent, realizing his son's quiet wisdom. He had turned what everyone thought was foolishness into steady gain. That day the minister learned something profound: true intelligence doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes it hides behind patience, humility, and silence. People may call you foolish, they may laugh when they don't understand you. But remember, the world once laughed at the very people it now worships. So if you know what you're doing, don't explain yourself. Just keep going quietly, consistently, and wisely. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who's been misunderstood for thinking differently. Be patient, be grateful, and keep moving forward. Your wisdom will speak for itself one day.